Good morning. Welcome to Coffee with a Coach. And this morning I am here with Jennifer Harris. She is a badass businesswoman here in Colorado Springs. And I'm so excited to have you on the show this morning. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Sorry, my dog went crazy.
It always happens. If it's not a dog, it's a kid. This is
Goodness.
real life. And I'm not one
Yes.
for pretending otherwise.
I'm so sorry, guys.
No need for apologies. None whatsoever. So, Jennifer, how you doing this morning?
I'm really good, except for the dog. I'll now hold him so that way.
Hello, cutie. Hello. There we go. All right. So now he'll be happy, right? He's in mama's lap.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope. Doesn't matter. Dog mama, kid mama, it's all the same, right? They just want us. They want our attention all the time.
Yes.
All right. So, Jennifer, can you tell us a little bit about your various businesses? And then I know we're going to be focusing on one in particular, but just tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah. So I'm a multi-entrepreneur. I've been hustling since I was in my 20s, doing some kind of side business, to make extra money. And the first main one was henna tattoos. So I do body art. So henna, glitter, and airbrush tattoos. Been doing henna for over 20 years. About 10 years ago, I started doing engraving after I was a glassblower for a year. That didn't pan out. The glassblowing part didn't pan out to anything, but engraving, which went crazy. So been doing that for 10 years. And then I think once you have a business or businesses that are settled and you're like, okay, I've got this going, I don't really have to think too much. Adding something else is ideal. You don't want to have a gazillion at the start, but you can balance yourself more. And so I'm a very creative person. And so I've loved photography all my life. And about 3 years ago, I started doing intimate portraits. And I loved how the work that I do helps people see themselves in a new light and in a new way. And so I started trying that with friends, and one thing led to another. And now I've got a home studio, and, I work with people all the time. So yeah.
Fun. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, you have a couple setups, like stage setups in your home?
What do you mean by that? For photography?
For the photography? Yeah.
Yeah. So the studio is pretty small. I'm in it right now. So this is a backdrop. But there's different areas of the studio. Everything can get moved around and stuff. And, I can get a lot of variety of looks in this small space, which is really great. So people are kind of sometimes pleasantly surprised, sometimes like, oh, this is amazing. Can I move in? Which is really great that it feels homey for people. So it makes it feel safe and comfortable.
That's fun. Yeah. And for any of the Illuminators who are watching, I just did a giveaway last month in February. And if anybody remembers the journal that I gave away, that was one of Jennifer's products. So I love, she does all of my Crystal Clarity and my Illuminators journals. Yes. So she does beautiful work and just a fantastic person to work with. So just a personal testimonial, if I may.
Thank you.
All right. So Jennifer, how can we help you this morning?
So one of my challenges that I have found is that, this year is a hard year anyway for, businesses that are more luxury items, in the sense of you don't need what I do necessarily until you realize that you do need it. And so it's just about everybody in my industry is having a challenge, but for me specifically, what I do to help keep my creative ball rolling is I'll do model calls. And so what that means is the client will sign a model release saying that I can use content how I'd like. But it also lets me play and try different things and kind of get kinks worked out that, oh, this didn't work quite as I thought. So how do I change that? And those are really low priced because I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
And the sessions tend to be shorter, but sometimes I just did a Viking one. And so they get a lot of stuff. They get me painting and doing the hair and all that kind of stuff. And then, the session of photography. And then they get images from it as well. And then if they want more, they can buy more. And so I get usually overwhelming response to my model calls. But getting people to pay full price for a session tends to be a little bit more of a challenge. Of course,
Okay.
sessions are longer and stuff like that. And, you know, you get more from it. Um, and I know that the value's there. And I have been contemplating, because I have a feeling I would know what you would say to me anyway. And somebody just told me that this weekend, because they just looked at me and they're like, you know what I'm going to say, right? Yeah, I need to raise my prices. So, you know, because now honestly is the key time to do it, because it's like, what do I have to lose? Like, I don't
Mhm.
have that many clients anyway. So it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, by the way, everyone who's on my list, you know, now it's going to be higher, right?
Yeah.
Like if I don't get any more clients, it's not like it's not happening already, right? And I do understand that, you know, those of you who don't know me, you know, don't know my work. And so that's one of my biggest pet peeves of hearing other photographers who say, you know, I don't know if I should raise my prices or not. And I'm like, well, that really, I think, depends on the work that you do and the art that
Mhm.
you're producing.
Mhm.
Um, I do produce good art. And it's
Mhm.
not just me blowing smoke, you know, for my own benefit. I am really good at what I do. And then the the benefits to working with me too wind up being that it's almost like a therapy session, because I feel like a lot of intimate portraits anymore has turned into the modernized glamour shots, and
Mhm.
that's not what I do. So,
Yeah.
you know, people don't have to get hair and makeup done. They can come in a hot mess. I don't really, it doesn't affect what end product it is. So,
Mhm.
you know, it's more about rediscovery of self.
Mhm.
And one of my close friends told me recently, she's like, you need to understand what you provide is a lot different than what other photographers provide.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I think part of it is me understanding my own worth and
Yeah.
value,
Yeah.
um, you know, and understanding that, you know, people who do want to work with me are wanting to spend their money on it versus me not understanding, like, well, I wouldn't necessarily spend my money on that, but it's not because I undervalue things. It's just because
Mhm.
I'd rather do something else with my money, like get
Mhm.
tattoos and
Mhm.
and
And
travel.
travel. Right.
So, you know, so that's personally what I like to spend my money on, right?
Okay.
So, but that doesn't mean that what I do is any less value.
Okay. All right. So, you know, there's actually a lot wrapped up into this question, and I completely hear you and hear where you're coming from. Anytime that there's any issue in a business, it's one of two things, right? It's either mindset or strategy. And so we're going to dive into that. But before we get there, something else that I'd really love to address, you brought it up, and I've had so many of my clients bring it up. And, you know, I've even talked about it with my coaches as well. Um, the climate right now, right? We're telling the story of, oh, you know, we've been told we're going into a recession. Oh, a recession is here. Interest rates are going up. You know, the real estate market is down. All of this stuff we have to understand first and foremost is its story, right?
True.
So just like COVID, there are people who experienced COVID and the horrific experience of COVID, and then there are other people who experienced rest and relaxation,
Right.
right?
Right.
And then when you look at the Great Depression, right, the worst recession of American history, looking at the Great Depression, the greatest millionaires of the time and the men who built America were built during that time. Mommy. See, here we go. Oh, thank you, honey.
And happy birthday.
Thank you.
Wait, it's your birthday?
It was my birthday yesterday. So
Okay.
my
Well, happy
daughter's,
belated birthday.
thank you. Thank you. Um, but you know, we can buy into the story of what's being told to us right now. And media is it, right? Media is what's driving whether we feel fearful or we feel abundant.
Right.
So releasing that, releasing what we are being told,
Yeah.
and understanding that it is all story, it is
That's
all
true.
mindset.
Yeah,
And
because
so,
there's so much money out there. There's so many
right,
people that, because my clients aren't the people who are in lack. My
right,
clients are the people who are in abundance. So
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So there are still
So
people,
yes. So like raising my prices wouldn't be a big deal. It'd actually be better because then people would be like, oh, she must be really good.
right, right. Yeah, that's one way to go, right?
Yeah.
That's one strategy. So, you know, the first thing though would be to work on the mindset part
Yeah.
of it. and understanding that just because somebody else is experiencing a recession doesn't mean you have to, doesn't mean I have to, right? So we want to attract the people who are experiencing it the same way we are.
Yeah.
Right? So does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this is what happens during a live anything. And we roll with it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she's climbing up on top of my massage table right now. And she's going to jump off and onto the couch and she's going to yell Geronimo. So everybody just be prepared. This is life. Anyway, now to the other side of it. So again, when we have challenges in business, it's up to us to take a look at, is this mindset or strategy? Keeping in mind that, you know, the numbers are thrown around, and I think numbers can be arbitrary at times, but what's been said is that mindset is anywhere between 80 and 95% of your business. Strategy is the rest, right? So 5 to 20% of your business is strategy. The rest is mindset. So you've already said, you know that you're good at what you do. You know that what you provide is very valuable, right? How are you communicating that to the people who are your potential clients?
Right. And that's a great question. That's something that I have been thinking about, and like, how do I want to reframe what I had originally started off saying 3 years ago? And so I need to rework the narrative and rework, you know, the whys of why somebody would want to work with me and bring them into that story for themselves. I do know that one of the questions I ask potential clients during calls is, you know, like, why are you looking at me versus other photographers, you know? And a lot of people are like, you know, I read your story about like why you started and it really resonated, or I looked at your portfolio and I saw people who look like me, you know, and stuff like that. So I know that that's coming across, but I still need to, I don't know, I still need to like talk about like this new part of stuff that I've discovered about, you know, like the way I work with people is different, you know, than the way normal intimate portrait photographers work. And this is all I do. Like I don't do other photography, you know, so I don't do families, I don't do headshots. It's not that I couldn't, I for sure could, but it doesn't make me happy and it doesn't bring me joy like this does, you know. So that's, I think, also important for clients to know, is that, you know, this is all I do for photography.
Yeah. So how can you get that message out in a stronger way?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I mean, I
Well,
guess I could do more videos and more lives. I think that would be like, I have no problem being in front of the camera. So, you know, and I think my personality shines really well when I do, you know, video stuff and people feel personable. I'm not always done up, you know, I tend to do videos, you know, fresh face and stuff too. I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts on that?
Let's back up a little bit. Okay. So we're going to dive a little bit more into strategy, because I think mindset, you know what, one more mindset question, actually. Have you had this same problem with your other businesses?
Yes, to a degree. With engraving, honestly, engraving would be dead right now if I didn't have my wholesale client. And that happened right after your retreat. Which I thought was really ironic, but so they've actually kept me afloat. So that would be, you know, yeah, like strategy would be an issue, you know, with engraving. But honestly, I'm not passionate about that as much anymore. So I'm like, meh.
Okay, so that does point to some mindset things going on. Okay, and that would be knowing your worth, knowing your value, understanding that what you're providing is valuable to other people. And then it can be part of how you're coming across your enrollment conversation, right? Are you taking a leadership role in that enrollment conversation, or are you taking more of a backseat and allowing them to drive? So But let's just flip over to strategy for a minute, because I'd like to get to know your demographic a little bit better. Are you really familiar with who you're speaking to, who your avatar is?
Yeah, it'd be me, but like years ago.
So tell me more about that, though. Tell me. So, obviously we've got female. That's your demographic.
Well, I shoot all genders. So gender has nothing to do with it. It's more of somebody who wants to feel empowered and feel like they can fall in love with their body again and their sexuality again. And even though they may or may not have a partner, that they want to do this for them because it's an empowerment thing. And it's something maybe their friends have done or they've seen on social media or whatever. And they're like, oh, that sounds really interesting, but I don't feel like I could do it. But they have that bravery in them that, and willingness to try something new.
What drives their decision to purchase? So your absolute ideal client, the one that was so easy, who just didn't even question it, signed on the dotted line and said, yes, take me as your client, do with me what you will. I'm here to do, I trust you. What drove that person to make that decision?
They wanted beautiful art of themselves made.
Okay, but it goes deeper than that.
I mean, they wanted to feel like themselves and that they've been seen and heard.
Mm-hmm.
I did not mean to do that.
I don't know, Courtney. I don't know.
You knew I was going to do this to you.
I know. I just did this to a friend of mine yesterday, so I get it. But of course,
think about
2.5 hours.
Think about how vulnerable somebody is, right? When they come to do this with you.
Yes.
What is it they're really looking for? What is the end result that they want to walk away with? The beautiful art, I agree with you. Beautiful art is wonderful, but that's not going to cause me to make this decision, right? That's like a fun side result. What is the true end result that they're seeking?
I mean, like the only other thing that I can really think of is, being comfortable in your own skin. And I mean, like I said before, just, learning, like being able to see yourself new, being comfortable in your own skin, loving yourself more at the end, and feeling confident and full of joy.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
That's the way people tend to leave, and
sure.
You just picked me up. Yeah.
So
and then the art, whether it's a book or wall art or combination thereof, I want it to be anytime they look at those pictures, they can remember, they can capture that feeling again.
Right. Right. They want to be brought back to that moment.
Yeah.
Right. That moment where they were free to be themselves.
Right.
Without judgment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because I mean, I get people who wind up being, semi-nude or fully nude. And they're like, I've never been this way in front of somebody without worry or concern. And I didn't even think twice about it with you. I felt so comfortable. So, that's amazing that I'm able to provide a feeling of comfort and ease with people, and that, when they look at their pictures, it's like, holy crap, how am I going to choose? How am I going to limit the ones that I get? Right. So yeah.
So would it be fair to say you're actually not selling the art, but you're selling
the experience? Yeah. Yeah.
Right? You're selling the experience. When you're doing your sales call, when you're doing any part of your funnel, are you speaking more to the art or are you speaking more to the experience?
It's all about the experience.
Okay.
Yeah. Like the last question is, what kind of like products are you wanting to get,
Mm-hmm.
And usually actually by the end of it, I have a good feel for what they're probably going to say anyway, based on their answers. So, and people a lot of times will come to start the whole process thinking that they want to do this as a gift for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I really try to help them understand that this is more for them than anything else. And other people that's just a bonus for them. Like, that's not That's not the main reason that somebody should be getting a session.
Okay. So what do you think, knowing that by nature, humans are fear-based creatures, right? And we purchase based on feeling, and then we justify based on logic. Okay, so take that into consideration. What would be the fear or the feeling, but it's going to be kind of on the lax side? What would be that feeling that drives them to seek freedom to be themselves, feeling more self-confident, feeling comfortable in front of somebody else? What's the step that happens before that makes them seek that out?
Oh, goodness. I mean, I guess it's more of like that they're not being seen and that they want to be, and that maybe they had a moment in their lives that they're trying to recapture that feeling, of being seen, and feeling desired and stuff like that. And this type of photography, is different in that sense of it's helping you capture those moments, and but in a safe space, right? There's no like, I'm not going to want to get in somebody's pants. That's not what I'm there for, right? So they're able to just be free in that, like, the movement of, sensuality and acceptance of themselves and stuff like that. And so, I mean, we limit our interactions with ourselves physically to be as plain as possible in my talk. It's, we shower, we put on clothes, we put lotion on, maybe in Colorado we have to, right? But we limit our touch. And, I kind of want to have people reconnect with themselves.
So now you're getting more into the mind, right? You're getting more into the psychographic of that person that you're looking to pull in. And so I would say if you steer your messaging more in that direction so that you're hooking them in, because they may not even know that they have this problem, right? Until they read your messaging that says, when's the last time that you've been sensual with yourself?
Right.
And I'm sitting there thinking like, well, I don't know.
Right. Because you don't think about it, and we tend to be givers. Most of us tend to be giving, especially women, since that is my majority clientele is women. We tend to give to our partners, and we tend to not ask for what we want. And again, that also goes into part of conversations that I have with people during a session, is that I talk about these things and they don't necessarily expect that. And they're like, oh, I didn't know this was going to be a therapy session. Yeah. Because I wanted to be like a little seed in their brain, to start thinking about themselves and what they want and what they need and how to vocalize and stuff like that.
So where do you think that these particular people are hanging out? Where would you find them?
I don't know. Like, I'm sure like maybe like high-end bars and clubs and stuff. I don't know. I don't do stuff like that though. So, if my avatar is me, I don't do stuff like that. But I'm a homebody. So, I think it's people who have social lives, but it's limited social lives maybe as well. I think COVID, of course, changed a lot of dynamics for people that were extroverted or on the fence, I should say, extroverted, are a little bit, less so now, just because we had 2 years of hibernation, really. So I'm not quite sure where. I don't know. I can't answer that.
Okay. So this would be an important step to start looking into, right? The only two things that we're diving into right now are your demographics and your psychographics. There's way more that we could get into if we had more time.
Right.
But looking at who is this person who's coming to me? What's her story, right? What's driving her to me? What is going to get her excited to pick up the phone and set up an appointment, or, go on my website and set up an appointment? What is really going to pull her in? I think it's going to be in your messaging. That's going to really, because you want to get to the feeling of it, right? You want to evoke the feelings in your messaging that are going to make her pick up her phone and give you a call, or, set it up on the website. So looking at how you're getting to them starts with knowing who they are, right? And when we're working on messaging, you want to really focus on one person. And I know this freaks people out. I think you're a little bit further along in your marketing, so this probably won't freak you out. But in general, when I talk to people about niching, they get freaked out because they're like, no, I can serve everybody. Well, the problem is, I'm not going to talk to my grandmother the same way that I talk to my daughter, the same way that I talk to my best friend, is right. So when I'm creating a message, I want to make sure that I'm using the language that one person, which is the demographic psychographic, that one person speaks.
Yeah.
So that they can hear what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And so I would say some really good, solid, deep work on who is this woman that's coming to you, right? Where does she shop? How does she think? What are her beliefs? What are her fears? What is it that motivates her, right? Getting to know who she is and then using her language. And one great way for you to start doing this is to do a deep dive on all of the people that have said yes so far.
Right.
Sending out a questionnaire to them, 3-4 questions that they'd be willing to answer. So you can start to use their language and turn it around into your messaging.
Yeah.
Is that something you've ever tried before?
No, but I think that's good.
Okay. All right. So then we've got about 3 minutes left. Let's touch on that mindset just a little bit, and mindset can be probably a little bit difficult to get into in 3 minutes, but let's see what we can find out. Are you ready for that?
I'll try.
Okay. All right. So when you set a price and you speak it out to somebody, do you feel very confident in that price? Or do you feel like, oh, I wonder if they're going to say yes or no?
No, I feel confident in it. And I do feel confident in raising my prices too. So that's not an issue.
Okay. All right. Good. When you're establishing your service stack, so the products that you offer, right? Do you feel really confident in your end results?
You mean like what they're getting in exchange for the value that I'm charging? Yes.
Okay. All right.
Again, but I have no problem raising that too.
Okay. Okay. So all of this is lending to a really strong mindset, right?
Yeah.
That's all wonderful. But if you're having the same issue in all of your businesses, then it still says that there's something going on in mindset that's holding you back. So if I were to say tomorrow, I want you to call me after you've signed up 3 new clients that are paying full price, what is all of the self-talk that's going on in your head right now?
Well, I'd be like, how the F am I going to do that? Like, how am I going to get 3 clients? Like I've got an email list. Sure. I could make an email an email to go out and stuff like that. But I'm like, I don't even know how that would be possible.
Okay. All right. So that right there, did you just hear your last words?
Possible.
I don't know how that would be possible.
Right.
Okay. That's telling me the mindset issue. So it's going to be key to flip around the mindset issue and to say, it is possible. It is possible to sign up 3 clients tomorrow. Okay. And I'll tell you, I just did it last week. I looked at my aunt and I said, you know what? By the end of today, I'm going to sign up 2 new clients. And she goes, good. By the end of that day, I signed up 2 new clients.
So what did you do? Did you just start calling people?
Nope.
That's where I'm saying.
Nope.
Did you manifest it?
Yes, this is where strategy lifts out, and it's all about mindset, right? I have now set my intention to the universe, and I believe what I say. Okay. Right? I have to believe in what I say.
Yeah.
So even if you want to set it at 1 client for now and say, by the end of the week, something where you can, it's a push for you, right? It's stepping you out of your comfort zone, but it's still within the realm of believability.
Yeah.
Okay. That would be the first place to test.
Okay.
And then when
manifesting, so.
Good. So,
So
that's what you want to start to do.
Yeah.
Take your manifestation powers and put them into your business.
Okay.
Right. And it all starts with, yes, it's possible. Right. So if I were to say to you, Jennifer, call me tomorrow afternoon after you've signed up 3 new clients, what would the manifestation answer be?
Heck yeah. It's freaking amazing.
There you go. There you go. Okay.
Okay.
So the simple fact that you've switched from it's not possible, right? I don't know, which are 3 very dangerous words in the business realm, but in the manifestation world in general.
Yeah.
I don't know sends the wrong message out to the universe.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know how. Well, guess what? You don't need to know how. Right? The how is the domain of the universe.
Right. Right.
So release the how, let the how go, but set the intention. Okay. The day that I signed up 2 clients, it was the day that I did the least amount of work. Right. That's why we say it's 80 to 95% mindset, depending on who you listen to. Right. And the rest is strategy. Yeah, we need the strategy there, right? We need people to know we're here. So we do have to have the website. We do have to have the Facebook page and the Instagram page and blah, 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 blah. Right. People need to be able to find us.
Right.
But the thing that actually gets them to find us is when we put on our radio antenna and we start pinging all of those people who are meant to work with us.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes, yes. There we go. So I would say some wonderful homework for you would be a nice deep meditation once a day, and it doesn't have to be long. It could be 4 to 5 minutes, but a nice deep meditation where you are putting out the ping, right? That energetic connection that says, okay, everybody who's looking to feel more free, everybody who's looking to have a sensual moment with themselves, everyone who is looking to feel better about themselves and more confident about themselves, I'm here and I'm ready for you. Please call me.
You're gonna make me cry.
I'm good at that.
Okay. That's what I needed, Courtney. That last bit, especially, that's what I really needed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's usually what it is, but we've got to make sure we've got the strategy down, right? Yeah. You've got to make sure you're out and available to people.
Yeah.
And then we put all of that fun mindset manifestation power into play.
Yeah. If I can say one last thing,
please,
about the business, I do travel. So if anyone watching is interested and doesn't want to come to Colorado, I'm happy to travel.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's something else that, because, I love to travel. I mean, that. Yeah. So, that's part of what I want to be able to do more with this is to be able to travel more. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So that's so much fun too, right? I mean, what a really cool other way to set yourself apart from the other photographers, because, right, they've got their studio. They feel very chained to their studio, where you are very comfortable going wherever it's called to, right?
Yep.
So
amazing. I'll be in St. Louis next week. So excited about that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for being here today. And for those of you who are watching, what we just talked about in the end, that mindset part, that is phase 2 of the E3 program. So if anybody's interested in honing their manifestation skills, E3 is a fabulous, wonderful program. And I would love to have you reach out to me, set up an appointment. Let's talk some more and find out if E3 is right for you. So Jennifer, any other last minute messages, questions, anything before we go?
No, just believe in yourself. And anything is possible.
Anything is possible. There you go. Your mantra for the day, the week, the month, and the year. Woohoo! All right, Jennifer, thank you so much.
Thank you.